Meet the Be Quiet light mount keyboard. Special thanks to Be Quiet for sponsoring today's video. As always, any opinion expressed is strictly my own. If you're interested in the light mount keyboard or you want to find out more about it, the link to it will be in the video description. Take a look at the retail box and packaging. Everything looks great. On the back side, you can learn more about Be Quiet, the brand and company, as well as this particular keyboard. They have a ton of great published specs for you right here. This does feature these silent linear switches. And now let's go ahead, let's open it up and see what's inside. Here are all the contents. First up, we have our product literature with a nice user guide and manual in color in multiple languages. And it walks us through all the included contents, how to use the switch and keycap polar. We also have some more instructions here, the USB ports, how to connect to the USB Type-C port, handling the volume with the included dial. We have our hotkey commands, and then we have some limited warranty information. Next, you'll find the included USB Type-C to Type-A braided cable, followed by our keycap and switch polar right here. Then we have the keyboard itself and a magnetic wrist rest that'll just snap right on to the keyboard. Let's go ahead, let's take a look at the keyboard in more detail. Take a look at this beauty right here with our aluminum top plate, Be Quiet's logo and branding. We have multiple macro keys over here, our volume button and dial. Very nice. We'll be testing that out here in a minute, but I had to give it a little feel already. See the side profile, top with the USB Type-C port. Other side, I see some RGB on the back sides here too, which is sweet. Here's a look at the very back with our adjustable feet. And we have multiple positions there depending on the height that you desire. Some additional product info. This is where the wrist rest is going to install. Again, it's just magnetic. So that just snaps right in to the keyboard. Try to show you that together. See everything connected right there. Very nice, very cool. Obviously, we have our RGB up at the top that will illuminate once we plug it in. Full keyboard here. So far, so good. Just for fun, I popped off one of the keycaps and we pulled out one of the switches just so you could get a close-up of the switch to see how everything looks. So this is a genuine cherry clipped and lubed switch. You can mix and match and swap these out as desired. Here's a look at the keyboard with the keycap and switch removed right there. In regards to the keycaps, these are going to be Be Quiet's PBT double shot keycaps. Here's a close-up of that keycap from all sides and angles, so you can get a better feel for the quality. And for those wondering, this does have a 1000 hertz polling rate. All right, we have the keyboard connected to our computer and instantly our LED light comes on here. So we got that large strip on the front, LEDs for each individual key. And if we look at it from the side, we have this strip down here. And on the other side, same thing, we have the strip there. Nothing at the bottom here, but we do have the underglow from all the keys with the keycaps. And that looks really, really sleek. That'll just snap right back in. But so far, so good. A great first impression. Now let's take a look at the software. So the software that supplements this keyboard is called I/O Center, and you can download it straight from Be Quiet's website. Now, it's made for Windows, which is what we'll be showcasing here today, but they also have a web version of this as well, so you can pick and choose which route you want to go. So it's great that we have that flexibility, web-based, browser-based software, or we can download the program and use it on our PC directly. When you open up I/O Center, you'll be greeted to this screen where we can see our light mount keyboard, a nice graphic there, and then we have 3 different setting options to go over for our light mount keyboard. We'll start with product settings. Make sure you have the latest and greatest firmware update to get the best experience possible. And then we have our game mode settings right here. We can toggle this on or off, where basically we can disable certain key combinations to make sure that in the heat of the moment while we're gaming, we don't accidentally minimize a window or do something that we don't want that's detrimental to our gameplay. So we got that there. Below that, we have our factory reset option and a quick start guide if you need any help with your keyboard. Moving on up, let's go to our key binding section here. So we have a remap option, function layer, and macros. We'll look at the Remap tab first, but basically pick and choose a key. And don't forget, we have our 5 customizable buttons. Currently, they're media controls, but we can change that function to whatever we want. So there's all of your options. You can get really creative here. Shortcuts, URLs, disable the key altogether, but a lot of options right there to pick and choose depending on which key you would want to remap for whatever use case or scenario you see fit. You have that full control and customization there. Then we have our function. So we can go ahead, we can select our options here. What do we want for that one? Same thing, pick and choose. And then we have our macros. So we can add a macro here. Basically, what device do you want to record? Keyboard, mouse, or keyboard and mouse? Recording delay. Do you want any delay at all? 3 options there. Then we have our start recording. And then our playback mode. Basically, this defines what happens for each option. Basically, if you select once, as soon as you press the macro, it'll execute and that's it. Hold as long as you're holding it down. It will continue to be assigned. And then lastly, you have the repeat option. So basically press it, it will continue on until you press it again. So that's going to be your 3 options there for playback mode. And then you can assign it, and there's the go to remap option, which takes you right back here to the Remap tab. So that's a quick look at the key binding settings. Lots of control and customization options right here, literally at your fingertips. And then last but definitely not least, that brings us to our illumination section here, where we can see all of the beautiful RGB lights. So let's go ahead, let's turn off our lights so we can see everything better. Look at that nice glow. I really like that strip up at the top. Such a solid accent piece here with the Be Quiet orange. It just looks so good. So first up under illumination, we're in the general section. There's also a custom option. So basically you can add your own layers here. You could really build this out as you see fit, but you can select different keys, right? And then what effect do you want to have there? So you can build out the custom section. We're gonna stick with the general, but we have our static, then we have our color wave. So cool. We'll just quickly go through some of these. Tornado, breathing, reactive, I like that one, and then matrix. And for each of these effects, depending on which effect is selected, you'll notice different options here. So like for color wave, we have single, dual color, or gradient. And then you can change your color, you can do different presets, you can adjust the direction, the brightness, and the speed. Do you want that slower? There's the slowest speed option. And they adjust up by tens. There's the fastest speed option. Or we can settle right back in the middle there. If you want to change the color, you have that option in luxury here. Right? So select change. You can even enter the hex value or the RGB value to get the exact color to maybe match your logo or branding. And then back to single color. That color wave's sweet. I think this dual color option with the orange and white looks really, really sharp. I mean, take a look at that. So cool. That looks great. So a lot of illumination settings here. Let's go to a gradient again. Go a lot faster. Or slower. Or somewhere in between. That looks great too. So that's pretty fun. But you can really, really customize this till your heart is content to get it exactly how you want it to match the aesthetic of maybe the game you're playing, your studio space, right? Depending on your whole setup and desk. Maybe to match your PC build. Maybe to match the RGB in your PC build, whatever it may be. You have a lot of flexibility there. Moving along, I grabbed a Cooler Master gaming keyboard here. This has brown tactile switches on it. I thought we would do a little comparison, just typing on both keyboards so you can listen in and get a feel for how quiet this is. Now this uses linear switches. This uses tactile switches, but just to show you that difference between the two and how quiet this keyboard is versus maybe what you're used to or considering switching from, this will hopefully be helpful to you to get a better feel for if Be Quiet truly lives up to their name. So let me start typing and listen in. I was being a little bit overly dramatic there, but you get the point. Be Quiet definitely lives up to their name. Typically, we stress the products in our videos, but this next test is more stressful for myself. Let's have a little fun typing on our light mount keyboard. Hopefully we can beat the results that we got with the dark mount keyboard. But I gotta tell you, definitely a fish out of water here, but it's still fun nonetheless to really put the pressure on and see how we can perform. Can we at least beat the average? That's gonna be key here. I mean business right now. Oh man. Dre. I hope I survive. All right, the test is done. Let's see how we did. All right, let's take a look at our results. Hey, we shattered our previous record, so we are above typist there, about 60 words per minute. Really, really interesting. Not bad, not bad, not bad. So again, I like to say, with a keyboard like this, you are going to be at fault if you lose your games or anything along those lines. It's not going to be your equipment's fault. So it's kind of like a golfer buying the nicest clubs and still stinking on the golf course. You can't blame the clubs at that point. You have the best gaming PC and you still lose. Well, unfortunately, that's on you, and that's going to be the case with the keyboard. It's not going to be the reason that you're being held back. You are going to be the reason that you're being held back. So just remember, if you get this keyboard, you're out of excuses. So let me share with you my final thoughts after using the Be Quiet light mount keyboard. Here's what you need to know. First, high quality construction, great comfortable wrist rest, magnetized, snaps right in, aluminum top plate, silent switches, very, very nice keyboard here overall. So if you're looking for that quiet keyboard, Be Quiet definitely lives up to their name. And just as important in my opinion, the IO Center software, really intuitive, clean interface, and easy to use. We have the desktop option and we have the browser-based support too. So really high-end software that's easy to use. We didn't have any issues with it or anything like that. So right out of the box, everything's truly plug and play and customizable. Speaking of that build quality, 5 macros and our knob button, whatever you want to call it, up at the top. I always feel like a DJ using this, but really nice to have this control here and the 5 macros that we can adjust. And again, everything's customizable, super simple, clean layout, full layout with the number pad. And I really enjoy the light strip up at the top. I want more of that in the future. Maybe for this particular keyboard, some USB pass-through, that would be pretty cool. And obviously, at the end of the day, it comes down to, is this worth it to you? So price could be a stumbling block for some of you out there, depending on what you're after. But if it's a quiet, near silent, high quality keyboard with some RGB and some macros, this could be the winner for you. And for those of you that have made it this far into the video, I got a quick side-by-side here of the dark mount and the light mount keyboard just to show you some of the differences. So they both have a magnetic wrist rest. They're a little bit differently though, because this one's designed in 2 pieces since the number pad can be installed on either side. And speaking of that, we have our modular multimedia control too that can move in 2 positions. You'll notice that the RGB is a little bit different too. We have a light strip up here on the light mount, whereas on the dark mount, it's all around the side of that keyboard. So a couple differences there. We have 5 macros on the light mount with our multimedia knob in the top left-hand corner. We don't have any of that here. Again, we have dedicated multimedia controls, and we have 8 macros with 8 screens up here at the top instead. So that's another little difference right there. So similar to each other, yet different. And then lastly, design-wise, we have a kickstand here with adjustable height options for the light mount. So multiple height settings there that we can toggle up to, depending on what you prefer. Whereas on the dark mount, it's these magnetic squares that can stack on each other to adjust the height that way. So another difference between both keyboards.